Jaden Smith is a man who has been through a lot in his life, no thanks to his father and mother. But recent news has exposed the shocking things Diddy and Will did to Jaden.
Your child, as he did. Wonder why he left that out of his Tasha K interview.
In that interview, he said a lot. He said
everything but the thing that was important. That he know that Will Smith, Jaden.
And this isn't even the worst part. There is speculation that Will Smith groomed his own child due to there being a lot of footage where he is kissing Jaden on the lips.
Thailand's The Woody Show, and during the interview, Papa Smith planted a wet one right on Jaden's lips.
You're like, look at kiss my son. Jaden, come on.
Jaden jumped up and ran from his overly affectionate.
But where did Will even learn this? Why would he do this? Many have pointed to the fact that his close association with Diddy may have corrupted him. Since the 90s, Sean Diddy Combs and Will Smith have been rolling in the same circles, building a solid friendship along the way. Their bond even came into play after that infamous moment at the 2022 Oscars, when Will slapped Chris Rock on stage following a joke Chris made about Jada Pinkett Smith. Diddy stepped up to help smooth things over when he presented a tribute to the Godfather trilogy's 50th anniversary. On stage, Diddy addressed the elephant in the room, saying, "Okay, Will and Chris, we're going to solve that like family at the gold party, okay? But right now, we are moving on with love. Everybody make some noise." It seemed like Diddy was hinting at Jay-Z and Beyoncé's exclusive after-party. But Diddy and Will's friendship has had its rocky moments. Rumors were swirling back when Diddy was dating Jennifer Lopez, suggesting that he and Will had some tension.
Ben Affleck, Jennifer Lopez, Puff, Will Smith, and Jada, and it was sitting on the other side of the room. So I know Puff so well that he stood up. When he stood up, he walked and did his arm some kind of way, like, and then he was like this, like that. I went over towards him. I know to go over there towards him. So I go over towards him, and he said to me, he said, "Yo, I think Will and Jada is trying to scoop up Jennifer. I want you to stay close, because I'ma snuff him."
Last year, during an interview on Jimmy Kimmel Live, Kimmel brought up the gossip, which claimed Diddy was ready to confront Will after hearing he'd tried to involve J. Lo in a threesome. Knowing what we do now about Diddy's crimes, that situation would have been seriously messy. It's been said that Diddy is a lot like the notorious sex offender Jeffrey Epstein because of the sex rooms in his Miami home where he hosted his freak-offs. A Department of Homeland Security agent who helped search the rapper's Miami mansion said there were rooms there that were dedicated to sex and had cameras all over them. The unnamed federal source told the New York Post that if you went to and took part in Diddy's sex parties, also known as freak-offs, you were being recorded from every possible angle, including angles you wouldn't have known about. Men who worked as prostitutes for the singer were said to have forced drugged women to sleep with other men in situations that Combs planned, filmed, and masturbated to. "In my opinion, he's as bad as Jeffrey Epstein," the source said, referring to the late fraudster and pedophile.
The feds went in there 9 different times to talk to him. And in those sessions, they asked him, "What do you know about Sean Puffy Combs or Sean Diddy Combs?" I don't think it was Puffy at that time. It wasn't Diddy at the time. But what do you know about Sean John Puffy Combs having sex with underage boys?
Police said they saw a lot of similarities between Combs and Epstein, who was arrested and jailed for trafficking dozens of girls in New York and Florida. Epstein died in his cell in August 2019 while he was waiting to be tried on new charges. Combs was arrested at the Park Hyatt Hotel in New York City on Monday, which caused a lot of attention. He was later charged with sex trafficking and transportation to engage in prostitution, but on Tuesday, he pleaded not guilty to all of the charges in a Manhattan court. The shocking indictment says that Combs forced women, some of whom were still teenagers, to have drug-fueled orgies that lasted for days. According to federal prosecutors, he planned and led the sex parties while masturbating during the show and gave the women drugs like ecstasy, ketamine, and BHB to keep them awake. The charge said, after freak-offs, Combs and the victims typically received IV fluids to recover from the physical exertion and drug use. Police said that employees of the music mogul secretly booked hotel rooms for the freak-offs and made sure they had baby oil, lubricant, and extra bed sheets in the rooms. But a federal source told the news site that after their thorough raids, they found proof that the women didn't feel free to go.
They just, so you have, if you don't have what they need, they're gonna leave.
Right.
Gotta keep them there.
Right.
You need locks on the doors.
Okay, this is sounding kind of dangerous now.
It's a little kinky, but rock with me, but just check it out. You need a lot of heat. A lot of heat. Yeah.
Heat. You mean that physically the place has to be hot?
You don't have no air conditioning.
No air conditioning.
No.
Why is that?
Heat affects the alcohol, and it also affects, like, everybody gets a little bit more comfortable and loose. Builds up a nice little sweat.
The source also said that video proof showed women who were clearly out of it while having sex with the men. Prosecutors said Combs would often tape the freak-offs to keep the women quiet. He was also known to choke, push, and throw people to the ground. The sensitive, embarrassing, and incriminating recordings that he made during freak-offs as collateral to ensure the continued obedience and silence of the victims, the charge said. After his major arrest, he begged for bail and offered his home and his mother's home as a $50 million surety. He was desperate to stay free. But Combs' request was turned down, and he will stay in jail because he could spend more than 20 years in prison if he is found guilty.
The story we're tracking, music mogul Sean Diddy Combs on suicide watch at Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center after 2 judges denied his request for bail. This as a grand jury is expected to hear new testimony from sex workers very soon. Good Day's Lizette Nunez is outside the facility in Gowanus with the very latest. Lizette, good morning.
Good morning, Dan. So TMC is reporting that 2 sex workers are sharing their encounters with Diddy with the feds. We're also hearing that Diddy has a target on his back while he is behind bars here at the Metropolitan Detention Center.
TMC is reporting that more people plan to cooperate with the feds in Sean Diddy Combs' sex trafficking case.
We found out that these 2 individuals, and we have actually spoken to one of them. They are both sex workers, currently sex workers. One of them says that they had an interaction with Diddy in 2014, and they are willing to tell the feds what they know about that interaction.
In the past year, many women have sued him, saying he abused them physically, sexually, and mentally. This led to his arrest. Many of the slanderous claims against Combs were made public almost a year ago, when his ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura sued him for rape, physical abuse, and mental abuse. Ventura said that he forced her to have sex with several male prostitutes, and she said that she was also told to find the prostitutes online. The suit said that Combs would then watch the encounters, record them, and masturbate. In her November lawsuit, the ex-girlfriend talked about the freak-offs and how the relationship was a nightmare for her for 10 years. Ventura, an R&B singer who used to be signed to Combs' label Bad Boy Records, said that the first freak-off happened just a few months after they started dating, when she was 22 and he was 40. The suit said that Combs punched Ventura and threw a glass vase at her after having a freak-off in a LA hotel in March 2016. The attack was caught on camera and released by CNN in May.
New surveillance footage obtained exclusively by CNN appears to corroborate some of the allegations of abuse against music mogul Sean Diddy Combs. The video, captured on multiple cameras, a lawsuit filed by Ventura in November last year and settled the next day.
Now, interestingly enough, Jaden Smith isn't the only underage boy who was seemingly groomed by Diddy. A video of Diddy and Justin Bieber partying together has gone viral once again, following Diddy's recent arrest. The clip, originally from earlier this year after Diddy's mansions were raided, has resurfaced. In the 26-second video, a woman excitedly shouts, "Happy birthday, Justin," as Diddy hands Bieber a bottle.
Welcome to the family, John.
Justin kneels down and takes a drink, and then the video jumps to scenes of the 2 dancing, surrounded by FL. The exact date of the video is unclear, but judging by Justin's blonde hair, it's likely from 2015 or 2016. This isn't the first time footage of Diddy and Bieber has popped up online. Another video, titled Justin Bieber's 48 HRS with Diddy, shows a 15-year-old Bieber with Diddy who jokes to the camera, "I can't really disclose what the two will be doing over the next 48 hours.
So check this out, yo. Justin, you ever seen the movie 48 Hours? Right now, he's having 48 hours with Diddy, him and his boy. They're having the times of their lives, like where we hanging out and what we doing. We can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. I have been given custody of him. He signed to Usher.
I'm signed to Usher.
I had legal guardianship of Usher when he did his first album. I did Usher's first album. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me. So and we gonna go full crazy.
I'm going crazy.
Crazy.
I'm taking this out tonight.
What you want to do? What you want to do over the next 48 hours?
48 hours. Let's go. Let's just go get some girls. Let's go hang out with some girls.
A man after my heart. That's what I'm talking about, kid.
He also mentions that Justin's mentor Usher had given him custody of the young pop star. In yet another clip, Diddy and Justin are in a recording studio where Diddy questions why he hasn't seen Bieber lately. "Everything's good? Selling out arenas and everything? Starting to act different, huh? You ain't been calling me and hanging out the way we used to."
What's up, man? You good?
I'm good. How are you?
All right, young brother, everything's good?
Everything's
Selling
great.
out arenas and everything? Starting to act different, huh? You ain't been calling me and hanging out the way we used to hang out.
Well, you try to get in contact with me, through all my, partners and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But you never really got my number, so.
Correct. Okay.
My number?
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you my number.
Yeah.
It's 55.
These videos have gained traction again, especially after Homeland Security raided Diddy's homes. Fans have also dug up an old clip from Usher's 2016 interview on The Howard Stern Show, where Stern asked if Diddy's place was filled with chicks and orgies nonstop.
Moved to New York City, and I lived with Sean Puffy Combs for a year.
That's the crazy thing. Now, that was L.A. Reid's idea, right? We're sending you
New
over
York
to
City.
something called Puffy Flavor Camp.
There you go.
To learn
Flavor Camp?
Yeah,
Flavor
that's what it
Camp.
was called. And you're going to go to Puff Daddy's. He's going
In the 90s, do you understand what that's like?
Puffy's place was like just filled with chicks and orgying like nonstop, right?
No, not really. I mean, but hey, it was curious. I got a chance to see some things.
Yeah, but you were 13. What were you seeing?
I went there to see the lifestyle.
Right.
And I saw it. And it was but I don't know if I could indulge and understand what I was even looking at. It was pretty wild.
So nobody tried to, some woman didn't come along.
I didn't say that.
Okay.
I didn't say that. What I did say is that there were very curious things taking place. And I didn't necessarily understand it.
Biggie Smalls was there.
Biggie Smalls was there. Lil' Kim, Craig Mack.
All these people are hanging around.
Yeah, man. Faith Evans.
And your parents
Jodeci,
were
Mary
okay?
J. Blige. They didn't know nothing about this shit.
Oh.
I was having a good time.
This interview came a dozen years after Usher's 2004 Rolling Stone feature, where he talked about how Diddy had introduced him to a totally different set of ST sex specifically. Usher described how there were always women around and how it wasn't unusual to walk into a room and see people in the middle of an orgy. "You never knew what was going to happen," Usher recalled.
Looking at this lawsuit, right, Lil Rod, he alleges that, Diddy told him personally that he had sex with Usher. And when you look at the lawsuit, even though they got Usher's name redacted, you could tell who it is because they described him as the guy that performed at the Super Bowl.
Right.
So, we all know who that is, but how you feel about that, man?
Well, I mentioned that earlier, that he said about Stevie J. The Usher part, that's a touchy situation, man. You know what I'm saying? Because I had a certain feeling and I felt a certain way when Usher got on Shay Shay, and I don't mean to mention other people's platforms, but he got on Shay Shay and he mentioned how great and how good Puff taught him and everything. You know what I'm saying? About the business, right? I know, and people know, that was around in that time that Puff and Usher did have that situation led Usher to the hospital. Now I let Usher explain that to y'all. I let Usher tell that story. But how dare you say a man that groomed you, you gonna give him a pass? Bruh, you know I know. Let me reframe you on something. Remember Usher? We was at the Swiss Hotel. Puff had Kim in the room. Had one of Keith Sweat's baby mothers in the big room outside the master bedroom. He came outside in his robe. He came outside in his robe. She gave him a fellatio right there. His back was turned to me. She gave him a fellatio. You knocked on the door. I came and opened the door for you. Puff went in the room. You came in the room and kissed that girl dead in her mouth. Now I'm telling that because you taking up for somebody that you know and a lot of more people know didn't do you right.
So it's clear that Diddy had quite the habit of diddling with underage boys, and it seems like he thought he could get away with it forever. Unfortunately for him, Cassie threw a snowball at him that has now turned into an avalanche, and there are more revelations to come, right here on this channel. That'll do it for this video, folks. Thanks for watching.
Shocked the internet by revealing his mom, Jada, sold him to Diddy.
But then there's more, because while we were glued to our phones, expecting some sort of press release from Homeland Security or new updates from the Diddy case, Jaden Smith shocked the internet by calling out his parents and exposing his mom for handing him over to Diddy to be abused. At this point, nothing surprises me anymore because the news out of Hollywood in the past few days has been nothing short of jaw-dropping. While lots of celebrities have been exposed in the past few days, word going around is that several celebrities are going to come out to talk about their experience with Diddy. But then Jaden Smith calling out his mother for selling him out to Diddy is the last thing we were expecting. But then Jada Smith handing her son over to Diddy to be a is shocking.
So there's this buzz about some drama brewing in entertainment world. And let me tell you, it's juicy. The Smiths stumbled upon some shocking info, and Jaden is after Diddy. We all know the Smith kids have had an unconventional upbringing, but this revelation takes the cake.
And then he's going to be prepared, and when it comes, because he knows about it and other.
Prepare yourself for an explosive revelation involving Jaden Smith, his father Will Smith, and P. Diddy. You might recall a particular incident where Will Smith displayed paternal affection towards his son during an interview. However, this wasn't your typical father-son moment. No, it involved a kiss on the lips, and needless to say, Jaden was visibly embarrassed. This incident played out in front of the world, further fueling the already burning rumors. But that's not all. Rumors started surfacing about Jaden's concerns regarding the relationship between Diddy and his dad, something that seemed to worry Jaden. An insider whispered through the grapevine.
You told me before that you was at a party before that they attended, and you said the party.
The buzz? Well, Jaden Smith reveals how Diddy manipulated him, and now he is breaking the silence on the case. He is about to expose Diddy. There's been speculation about Diddy and Will for quite some time, but now it seems Jaden might be entering the picture. Quite the unexpected turn of events. This juicy Hollywood saga has everyone buzzing, and more drama is yet to unfold. Keep your eyes peeled, folks, because this story will take a messy turn.
Deep-rooted they are in hip-hop is something that my parents were aware of, and they made us aware of it before, we even found out from other people that there was this expectation of it.
I'm not. He said, yo, I think Will and Jada is trying to scoop up.
It's widely known that both Diddy and the Smiths have been associated with some dubious mentorship practices, drawing aspiring artists into their circles under questionable circumstances. Jaguar Wright even shed light on what allegedly happened at the Smiths' residence, particularly concerning younger individuals in the industry.
I mean, are we really surprised that Will and Jada are to blame? Haven't we been saying this exact thing for years?
But Jaden's kind of MIA. And considering that he emancipated from their household at 16 and refused to come back even to do family interviews. You know?
Right.
They're both bisexual. They do weird things in their house. And young men have left their house screaming to get away from them in their mentorship.
Some people compare these influential figures, implying that their mentorship may do more harm than good. Interestingly, while Will and Jada are occupied with other aspiring talents, Jaden is forming close ties with Diddy.
Deep-rooted they are in hip-hop is something that my parents were aware of, and they made us aware of it before, you know, we even found out from other people that there was this expectation on it.
Recently, there have been swirling reports about investigations delving into Diddy's interactions with younger individuals. And now, with the emergence of footage featuring Justin Bieber, it's safe to say things are escalating quickly. Adding another layer to the already tangled web, rumors have surfaced about Usher and Diddy sharing living quarters for a year, sparking speculation. Whispers about Diddy's alleged attempts to involve other individuals in intimate activities have circulated, though no concrete evidence has been presented. Nevertheless, he seems to exert considerable effort to keep these purported shenanigans under wraps.
Knew that I was very unhappy, but just couldn't figure out why. Because everybody thought how I thought. You've got everything. What is wrong with you?
They had seen the attacks that their mom had gotten from all of it, and they really hoped people could just move on. Another source said that Will and Jada put their children in a very strange and uncomfortable situation, telling the Daily Mail they were constantly asked about their parents, and for 7 years they had to basically lie to everyone and pretend that everything was perfectly fine when they knew it was not. This made them extremely agitated at times, and they would constantly get in fights with each other and with them. According to the source, Jaden Smith in particular found it hard to cope with the issues surrounding his parents' marriage, and they said Jaden has had so many issues with them, and this has always really been hard for him to deal with.
And who's caught up in the middle of all this mess? None other than Will Smith's son, Jaden. He's been living by the motto, age is just a number, because he's been cozying up to Diddy despite his parents not knowing the full extent of what's been happening.
Attorney, former prosecutor Bernardo Villalona. Bernardo, there's this footage showing Diddy's sons detained with federal agents surrounding them. Based on what you can see here, does this appear to meet the legal standard for excessive use of force?
No, not at all. In terms of how they were stopped and how they were detained, you have to think that when officers are going in to execute a search warrant, and I've written numerous search warrants as a former prosecutor, and they've been gone out to execute a search warrant as part of the officers. In terms of how it was executed and the force that they used, they immediately tried to detain any individuals that are inside of the home, and that's to just make sure they, one, identify who they are, but number two, and primarily the reason is for their own safety, the safety of the individual, as well as the safety of law enforcement. Again, we do not know what is the information that law enforcement had before going in to execute that search warrant. But a sign this shows me is that they had information that it's possible that the individuals that are inside of that house could be armed.
And Diddy has not been charged with a crime, so if the investigators here and the prosecutors here decide charges are warranted, is there any sense of how long that could take after a raid like this?
It could take weeks, it could take months. And the reason why is because they gathered so much evidence. Supposedly they gathered so many videos and laptops and also electronic devices. And they have to now conduct a forensic investigation of those items and to see what are on those items. And first off, they have to ask whether they have the passcodes to those items, because not having the passcodes could create a delay in investigating those items. But then aside from that, once they are able to get into those items, they're going to continue to build from that and see where the evidence leads them.
All right, Bernardo Villalona, always great to have you. Thank you.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.
that news got to him, he actually pulled some strings and got her fired from her job. She claims she received a photo of a man allegedly pulling Diddy's shorts down while he was on vacation in Cancun. Wendy actually was fired from her.
Wendy Williams, she got fired from Hot 97 because she had a picture of Puffy. So if you don't mind, give me the story from your point of view and what was in the picture.
We were in Cancun. For whatever reason, dude was playing with Puff. He went behind him and grabbed his trunks and pulled them down. Some girls that was taking pictures. They took that picture and emailed it back to Wendy Williams. Wendy Williams said she had him in a compromising position and like he was gay, something like that. She was gonna put it out. Wendy had shown people that email. Puff told Hot 97 if they didn't get rid of her before he got back in New York, that they was not gonna get any music from any of his friends, any of the record labels executives that was cool with him. Everybody was gonna boycott their station. We was out in LA for about 3 days before we landed back in New York.
And she stood up for herself against Diddy.
Yes, it's very effeminized, but be very clear. There were lots of homosexuals in hip hop back in the 80s too. You know, that was, you know, what's worse? You know, hip hop wearing skirts or hip hop being closeted and having a plethora of kids to prove manhood that, you know, and denial of something that you shouldn't have to deny, which is your sex.
Diddy's sexual orientation has been a topic of much discussion, with figures like Wendy Williams dropping hints here and there. Williams once pondered whether it's more detrimental for hip-hop to embrace non-traditional masculinity or for individuals to remain closeted while striving to assert their manhood through fathering numerous children. Adding fuel to the fire, Wendy and Diddy have been involved in a highly publicized feud, during which she accused him of attempting to sabotage her career to silence her. The latest revelation comes from Diddy's former bodyguard, who has reportedly shared details about his ex-boss's alleged involvement with other men. The more unconventional aspects of Diddy's personal life are beginning to surface. While no names have been disclosed, history has shown that even the most closely guarded secrets have a way of emerging over time.
I found it's like, just divorce can't be an option, right? It's really that simple. Just if you just remove the option, because if you have the option, one day that person is gonna make you
option.
I made a promise that there will never be a reason for us to get a divorce. We will work through whatever, and I just haven't been able to break that promise.
Can you
Insiders suggest that Will has been grappling with unsettling rumors that could tarnish his family's reputation. However, it's worth noting that he chose Jada as his life partner, and she's always been known for her outspoken nature. Recently, she made headlines by revealing that their marriage had faced significant challenges, even leading to separation in 2016.
Can you kiss your pie? Jaden, come on.
Jada has always been the more open-minded member of the family, while Will has been trying to keep up appearances for the sake of his public image. But despite their struggles, they've kept the drama train rolling for the public.
On the kids as well. And even Will once tried to admit that he felt guilty for some parenting choices he and Jada had made. He didn't specifically refer to any intimate mistreatment related to his son Jaden, but rather left his fans wondering with a cryptic message. Yeah, I think it may have been a mistake. I think we may have gone too far. Apparently, Jaden was introduced to the wild lifestyle that most celebrities were experiencing with Diddy, and knowing the sickening details of the music mogul hosting adult-themed parties dubbed freak-offs, which were attended by a slew of celebrities, including Will and Jada, it may raise suspicions about what Jaden has been forced into in his early years.
I would say certain things like, oh, but I can't do it. And my dad would be like, what did you just say?
However, both Jaden and Willow has nothing to say against Will. It feels like Jada was the one pulling the strings and making big parenting decisions, which had a negative influence on her kids and wrecked her minds. As one person wrote on social media, we cannot keep wondering what's wrong with these kids anymore. We know, and it's not just the industry. And another internet user added, she said Jaden wouldn't listen and left at 15 years old, and they said they decided to let him go. And folks, let me remind you about that shocking story when Jaden Smith was so tired of Jada's sick parenting that he went directly to his dad and asked him to be emancipated. At 15 years old, When Jaden asked about being an emancipated minor, my heart shattered. He ultimately decided against it, but it sucks to feel like you've hurt your kids.
But in the end, Jaden decided to stick it out and ride the wave of his father's rise in the industry. Who knows what the future holds for the Smith clan? But one thing's for sure, it's never a dull moment with them around.
Needed that validation to have that type of woman.
You saw her say that Will Smith had a small dick.
I am saying to you, if a woman is used to something the size of a baby leg and you come in with a pinky toe, there's nothing you can do to please her. You can buy her 80 cars, you can get her 80 private jets. If she's itching for that baby leg, she want that baby leg. You can beat a person so much that they fall into submission. So, all right, I open the door to Dwayne's dressing room, and that's when I see Dwayne and having sex with Will.
And when you think things couldn't get any messier, Jada Pinkett Smith seems to be adding fuel to the fire, hinting at Will's shortcomings as a husband and father. It's a challenging situation all around.
He has to look at me and see what I need. And we have to make decisions based on that, not based on what people think.
The Smith family has a penchant for getting embroiled in drama. Initially, there were reports surrounding Jada's entanglement with August Alsina, and now, fresh allegations have emerged regarding Jaden's connection to Diddy, with speculation suggesting that Jada may have introduced them. It's all rather tumultuous and certainly not just child's play. Jaguar's perspective on the family dynamics adds another layer to this unfolding record.
He told me that you knew Will was f***ing your child. Yes, he did. Wonder why he left that out of his Tasha K interview.
Yeah, in that interview, he said a lot. He said a lot.
He said everything but the thing that was important. That he know that Will Smith, Jaden, he Neat Mills, and you know it, Bilal. Now I don't give no how far in the desert you run. You'll go from a Philly to a sand, they'll still get you.
He's Philly though, James. Philly.
You know, he Meek Milk. As far as I'm concerned, he Meek Milk. I ain't calling him Mill no more, that's milk. That's Meek Milk. Added to the honeycomb. You got a meal.
It's a lot to unpack, and there's always more drama waiting around the corner with this family.
Yeah. Come on. Jaden.
To that relationship for years of my life, you know, and I truly and really, really deeply loved and have a ton of love for her.
Jaden Smith's upbringing within the Smith household has been anything but conventional, with a culture of permissiveness prevailing. As Will Smith admitted in a 2013 interview, their approach has been focused on granting their children as much autonomy as possible. However, as recent events unfold and hidden truths emerge, this laissez-faire attitude may have yielded unintended consequences. Jaden's revelation at a conference regarding mind-altering substances, seemingly implicating his mother in their use within the family, sheds light on the repercussions of such a permissive upbringing. The implications of Jaden's purported involvement with Diddy raise questions about accountability and the darker facets of Hollywood. Amidst it all, one undeniable truth remains. The entertainment industry can be a difficult terrain where power dynamics and secrets often lurk beneath the surface of glitz and glamour. That wraps up our coverage for today. Thank you for tuning in.